What's up, internet friends, founders, and the Entrepreneur Curious? You've made it, and you're here. It's Venture Daily with me, Peter Saddington. What's up, guys? I hope you are having a wonderful Thursday. A Thursday morning. I hope you guys are going to have a great day at work today. If you're one of those few, one of those few. Hopefully, all of you should be working. Actually, speaking of which, it reminds me, I know I'm cutting myself off multiple times here, guys, but speaking of which, I was kind of meditating as of recent. I don't know if I brought this up in another Venture Daily show, but I was meditating recently on the nobility of work, and I remember I was talking with a couple of my friends about this. The nobility of work and why work is noble, right? Work is just noble. It's noble to do. There's value in the work that you do. It doesn't matter the status. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're a janitor or you're a CEO of a Fortune company. Work is noble because you're continuing to persevere and you're continuing to survive this life. And so, for all of you workers out there, for those that are heading out onto the grind, whether you're in a car listening to me on podcasts, which I know most of you guys do, iTunes or Spotify or Google Play, I just love being a part of your day and hopefully being encouraging to you on this Thursday, February, is it the 13th? Holy smokes, February 13th. Oh man, Thursday, 2020. We have an interesting show for you today, a good show, but we're going to be talking about two things. Number one, we're going to be talking about the cult of the unicorn founder. Now, if you don't know what this means, a unicorn is a company that's going to blow up and make massive gains, massive returns for everyone. And so obviously venture capitalists want to find those unicorn founders. However, I found a recent article on the cult of the unicorn and whether that is dead. So we're going to be talking about that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all the facets of this particular article. And then the second thing we're going to be going through is we're going to be going through another article which I thought was really good. It's a guy who has learned 10 things about how to be successful from producing TV shows. And a lot of his advices there are not too dissimilar to the advices that I would give any type of first-time founder or any startup entrepreneur. And so we're going to be covering those two. We're going to be going into venture deals for today, Thursday, as well as the final word. And the final word is going to be mostly a question to you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Sit back, relax, and listen, guys. It's Venture Daily with me.
Smoke weed every day.
Well, is the cult of unicorns dead? Well, many are of the opinion that the changing venture capital industry is ending the cult of the unicorn founder. And this could be the truth, but we'll see. Others are suggesting that it is time for adults to talk with the unicorn kids about the reality of life. The reality of life. They are pointing out that unicorns with multiple share classes and asymmetric voting rights and give usually a few shareholders, usually the founders, control over the company at the expense of the majority of shareholders will fade since they are not allowed to list on key benchmark stock indexes. Is the VC worm really turning? Well, in 1994, Amazon.com, Apple II, the era of Steve Jobs returning to lead Apple in 1997, Google from 1998, and Facebook of 2004 launched the era of worshiping the unicorn founder. These companies were key to the evolution of venture capital. I mean, without all that money sloshing around and people making money, what's the point? Although there were a few exceptions, such as Bill Gates. VCs previously believed that they had to seek control and replace the founder with a professional CEO. This happened in eBay and Apple #1. The VCs and the board controlled the venture. The CEO served at their pleasure. And the belief was that the founder was better at launching the venture from the idea stage and a professional CEO was better at building a venture-backed stage. Or the venture fund, they would grow the venture to the takeoff stage. But the launch of Amazon.com and the resurrection of Apple under firm control of Jobs and the success of entrepreneurs such as Zuckerberg at launching and building their ventures led to the cult of unicorn entrepreneurs who are lionized by the press and revered by investors. While the Google co-founders recruited a professional CEO who was recommended by the venture capital funds, one of the co-founders returned to lead the company until recently. Jobs was a primary catalyst in hero worship when he returned to Apple and turned a failing business into one of the world's greatest companies. Mark Zuckerberg was also a landmark due to Facebook's evident potential after he launched it and demonstrated the smarts and the ability to build a venture into a colossus. He was able to attract investors like Peter Thiel. I'm still waiting on the response. We're supposed to be doing the interview here, bro. And VCs like Accel Partners who are willing to invest in the company while allowing Zuckerberg to keep control via proxy rights. Now we are seeing some problems in unicorn land, including the tone deafness of Mark Zuckerberg, who is not accountable to anyone, the fall of Kalanick, which resulted in his unglorified exit from Uber, the disgrace of the founder of WeWork, and the losses suffered by its last venture capital fund, Masayoshi Son of SoftBank, which seems to be the final straw to the end of the cult of the unicorn founder. These problems are causing many in the VC industry to question whether they went too far in ceding control to entrepreneurs and whether it was time to reclaim it. The question is whether these problems are the result of lack of VC and investor oversight or due to the goal of VCs to get the price of high potential venture at any cost after the aha moment when it has proven its potential. You see, one of the big issues here of the unicorn founder is that the founder, in many cases, as they present their case here, is often the greatest, is the person that is the best at building the company from zero to something, 0 to 1. But often these founders are not the right guys to grow it to the next stage of scale or even massive scale. Now, I can be intellectually honest here, guys. I am generally a 0 to 1 entrepreneur. That's just how I work. I've never dreamed of owning a large company or running a large company with more than 20, 40 employees. Actually, to be quite frank, the most I ever grew in my first startup was 19 employees. So I didn't even hit 20 employees. So I can't even say that I've had experience up to 20 employees. But I've never wanted to be that. And in all of the cases of all of my startups, I've always passed the buck when it's time to move to the next level. I just like building. Now, maybe this is just me and being self-aware and understanding that for me, I like being 0 to 1 and not 1 to 2 or 2 to 3. But for many in the IT world, in the VC world, in the founder world, well, maybe we're just worshiping these guys too much. And maybe, just maybe, they're not the right guys to scale it to the next level, in my opinion. Here's my opinion. My opinion, most founders are great at getting it from 0 to 1. The question you have to ask is, after they've reached traction, after they have that aha moment, after they are moving in the right direction, should we be looking for a replacement CEO? Let's see what these guys say. So after they found the aha, well, number one, VCs need to invest in home runs if they are to succeed. There are very few home runs, and any entrepreneur can get funding from nearly any VC after demonstrating proof of potential. The risk of not investing in a proven unicorn is much greater than not investing in one. And VCs are going to compete with each other to invest, even if it means ceding control to the unicorn entrepreneur. And so what they're saying here is one of the big problems is that they want to make money. There's momentum, sometimes called momentum investing. And what happens is, you know what? When you're in that trajectory to make money, you kind of say, well, CEO or founder, let's let you keep going here. But as we've seen, it could be a problem. The number two issue, entrepreneurs who want to build unicorns and control the wealth and venture they create will delay VCs until aha or avoid it. That is what 94% of unicorn entrepreneurs did. This focus is a 180-degree shift from the current spend to growth strategies among most growth-seeking entrepreneurs to grow more with less strategy. This would require entrepreneurs to change their attitude from more capital is success to more wealth is success. They need to know how to be financially smart and to build the skills and to build a real business. This is what finance-smart entrepreneurs like Gates, Walton, and Zuckerberg did. VCs asked to invest in ventures with proven potential, as happened in WhatsApp. After the aha moment, the balance of power shifts from VCs to entrepreneurs. The cult of the unicorn entrepreneur will only die when entrepreneurs stop believing in themselves and their abilities and seek VCs too early. Could be a problem. You know, one of the big issues that many founders have is when to get venture capital. My short opinion, wait. See if you can get traction on your own. See if you can grow your own customer base. That way, you don't have too many, what do they say, chefs, cooks in the kitchen. If you can't prove it on your own, more money sometimes isn't the answer. So what's my take on this? Well, will VCs demand control and reject ventures where an entrepreneur refuses to hand it over? Only if greed is dead, I guess. So as long as VCs want to pile into ventures with proven potential, finance-smart entrepreneurs who know how to build their ventures from idea to aha moments without VCs will rule. That's my opinion. Will unicorn entrepreneurs give up control? 94% of unicorn entrepreneurs did not. They kept control. That could be the issue, guys. In many ways, when you're a founder, you're controlling the ship. But are these unicorn founders, do we give them too much credit? I think this article is trying to tell us at the end of the day that there's these great luminaries in which they were great models for unicorn founders. But in today's day and age, we have to be more savvy as investors. We have to realize that there's a certain person for a certain moment in time. There's a certain person that is perfectly suited for the type of growth of that startup. And being a good venture capitalist, for all of you VCs that are listening out there, being a good venture capitalist is being close to your founders and asking the right questions. Asking them like, hey, is this where you want to head? Are these the roles and responsibilities you want to embark on or to take on? Because in many ways, especially if you raised Series A or maybe even B easily, there's enough capital to hire for positions and to hire and backfill those roles. So if you're a founder out there, you're an entrepreneur out there, let me know in the comments below whether you feel like the cult of unicorn founders is dead, or are we just extrapolating from extreme examples like Gates, like Zuckerberg, these types of individuals? Let me know in the comments below. And we're back. Sorry for that pause here. I was just setting this up. We're trying something a little bit new here, guys. So I want to read this next article. This next article is talking about a guy who through creating TV shows has learned 10 things about success. Let's see if they resonate with you guys. The other day, while taping an upcoming episode of Entrepreneurs Get a Real Job podcast for this very website, I was reminiscing with host, let's play this here. I was reminiscing with host Dan Bova about our days producing television together. We shared stories about demanding talent, disastrous productions, and great shows that never went. I left the conversation thinking about how much I've learned while producing television over the last 20 years. Specifically, I left thinking about how much producing television has taught me about running my own business and how I wouldn't be a successful author of 2 novels, Oil and Marble and Raphael, Painter in Rome, without that experience. So here are my favorite lessons from television, and I hope will help you produce your own success. Well, thank you. I appreciate you writing this article, my brother. Here's the first one. Number 1, there's a new show every day. This is a good one. For most of my career, I produced 5 nights a week of television. Some days we put up great shows, other days real stinkers. But the next day, we always had to put on another show. I treat my writing and business life the same. Yes, I make mistakes, but I don't dwell on them. I learn from them and put out a new show every single day, no matter what. That is a crucial idea for founders and entrepreneurs. And frankly, if I can be any model for you guys here, that's what I do. Not every episode of Venture Daily is great. Not every episode is I'm knocking it out of the park. In some episodes, like today's episode, I run different experiments. And it means that the show is a little jagged. It's not perfect. It's not perfectly polished. But I'm still feeling out. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to be in this technology, venture capital, and founder world. You see, this whole experience of me doing the daily news 5 times a week, writing a daily newsletter 5 times a week, interviewing venture capitalists every week, right? This is my way of learning as fast as possible about this new industry that I want to be a part of. And you know what? There's always going to be a show the next day. And so don't ever worry. Don't ever worry about the quality so much. It's the time in the seat, right? This is something that I tell my son all the time when it comes to karting. It's time in the seat. You're going to get better with time and experience. Don't worry about it. Not everything that you do needs to be exactly perfect. Number two, the thing that he's learned to be successful, no is as good as yes. I completely agree. When I was learning to book guests on talk shows, I was disappointed when someone said no. But a more experienced producer taught me that the answer is good because when it is a no, it lets you take action. When you get a yes, you get to start producing the segment. When you get a no, you get to cross that person off your list and move on to the next ask. In business, you're going to hear a lot of no's. But when you start taking that as an opportunity to move on, you'll stop dreading rejection and start feeling empowered by it. Absolutely. Oh, did I have it this way the entire time? It's okay. It's all good. See? There we go. I made a little mistake there. I made a little boo-boo there. But this is a good point to be reminded of. I'm always telling you guys, asking is always free. Ask. The worst, it's not even really the worst. The worst thing they could say is they could say no, which means it gives you an opportunity to move on. There's other things to do, other people to connect with. No is awesome. You want to know why? I'll give you a really great idea here. No means that everything else is on the table. All right? Whenever you get a no, it means you can go out and find new opportunities. Everything else is still on the table. But whenever you say yes, you've now closed off opportunities that are out there. And so in many ways, yes is more constraining because once you say yes, then you have to say no to everything else. But once you say no, you have an opening of lots of opportunities to say yes for maybe even bigger and better ideas. Consider that. No is not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's probably one of the most freeing things you can have because the more that the more that I say yes to interviews, the people that want to come on, my schedule gets packed. Then I get anxious. And then I have to do lots of more research. And then I have to do all this. I want to pace it at a pace that's sustainable. And I want to enjoy what I do. So saying no, is sometimes the best thing for me mentally. Number 3, obstacles are opportunities for success. At 5 a.m. the morning after Osama bin Laden was killed, I drove to the studio to cancel our guests and book a new lineup. Even though I had to cancel weeks of work, I wasn't upset. I was excited. Yes, I could have approached that morning as a problem to be solved, but instead I saw it as an opportunity to take our guest list from good to great. When something goes wrong, I challenge you to see it as an opportunity to make your show even better. This outlook would not only improve your business, it's more fun too. Absolutely, guys. Number 4, no matter how bad it seems, it'll always work out. I'll let writer Tom Stoppard take this one with his exchange from his brilliant screenplay for Shakespeare in Love. Henslow says, "Allow me to explain about the theater business. The natural condition is one of the insurmountable obstacles on the road to imminent disaster." Fenneman says, "So what did we do?" Henslow says, "Nothing. Strangely enough, it all turns out well." Fenneman asks, "How?" Henslow replies, "I don't know. It's a mystery." It's true. These are some of the truest lines I've ever read about the entertainment industry, and I apply them to my business too. Yes, things will fall apart, but somehow, if you keep working, the answer appears. How? I don't know. It's a mystery. Ain't that the truth? How many times have you guys gone through disappointments in life? Expectations weren't met. Expectations weren't made. You're disappointed in the outcome. You're disappointed in an individual, or you're disappointed in yourself, or you failed, or you messed up. you know what? Weeks later, days later, weeks later, months later, years later, it doesn't really matter. This is actually one of the chapters that I wrote about in my upcoming book, in how that one decision in your life today is really relatively insignificant in the light of eternity, in the light of the entire span of your life. I mean, one mistake, boo-hoo. It's not that big of a deal. You're going to wake up the next day. You're going to keep on grinding through. You're going to keep on working. And you know what? Not kind of. It always just works out, doesn't it? Number 5, no is not an answer. Even though I said above that no is an answer I often get from others, it's not an answer I give to myself. One of my favorite production coordinators had a sign hanging over her desk that read, "No is not an answer." When someone asked for something, she never said, "No, that's impossible," even if it was. She said, "I'll figure it out." In Hollywood, you must find ways to make the impossible possible. I apply the same attitude to my business. 100%. Everything is possible. You're never out of resources. You're just out of resourcefulness. Be resourceful. Be resourceful. There's always opportunity. Number 6, anticipate questions. Prepping a host for an interview is like a verbal pop quiz. I had to get good at guessing which questions my host would ask me, so I could be prepared with the answer. I still try to guess the questions that might arise during any speech, pitch session, or meeting, so that I can always come across as an expert in the room. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this one. However, I would say be prepared if you're doing any type of work with other people. Number 7, have a sense of urgency. In television production, if someone asks for something, they don't need it 10 minutes from now. They need it 10 minutes ago. I inject this sense of urgency into my business. I don't rush unnecessarily, but I also don't put things off. If I can do it now, I do it now. I work it right like the TV cameras are about to roll in 5, 4, and 3. I like to say that you should always exceed expectations. I would agree with that. Number 8, don't ever be intimidated. I've been in rooms with every kind of important person: presidents, billionaires, rock stars, Nobel Peace Prize winners, and Oscar winners. And you know what? They're just people. Some are nice, some are mean. Some trip or pass gas on the way to the stage. I don't care which agent is reading your work or which CEO has agreed to meet with you. Don't be intimidated. You deserve to be in the room with all of them. Number 9, insecurity is normal. I'll tell you another secret about meeting famous people backstage. They're just as insecure as you. They have me check their teeth for food. They test their jokes on me. They ask me if their answers are good enough. So next time you're up all night wondering whether you're talented enough to succeed, just tell yourself that you're no different than insert your favorite celebrity name here. And last but not least, one of my favorites, number 10, listen to your own voice, which essentially is listen to your gut. Your gut knows, guys. After nearly 2 decades of producing interviews with famous people, I found that the most successful all have one thing in common. They are uncompromising in their vision. You must find your voice and always listen to it. That's the best way to produce your success. Well, I hope this was encouraging, an encouraging article of 10 ways that you can find success. I can summarize it in 2 sentences. It's very simple. Number 1, don't quit. Don't ever quit. And number 2, there's always a day tomorrow. If you don't quit and you keep on hustling and you keep on moving towards that trajectory, brick by brick, right? I've talked about this. Some of you guys might remember this analogy. Whenever I'm working with someone who's frustrated about the speed in which they are going, I simply take a sticky note. You guys know I love these sticky notes. And I draw a wall. I'll draw it for you right now. I draw a wall just like this. I draw a wall just like this. And then I draw some bricks. And this is what I draw for them. Just like that, guys. I draw for them. Just like that. A little dude and some bricks and a wall. And I say, what do you see there? And they say, well, it's a dude. I don't know, what is he, playing softball or something? Or is he on a net? And I say, no, he's on a wall and he's carrying bricks. And they look at me. They have to look at me. They're like, okay. And I say, a wall needs to be built brick by brick. So what? Some days you lay 100 bricks. It's a good day. It's a productive day. Some days you can only get on one brick, but it doesn't matter. Walls are built brick by brick, piece by piece. At the end, maybe it's a long tail game. At the end, you'll have a fantastic looking wall, especially if you did it with quality and discipline. You'll have a great product. You'll have a great life. You just have to build it day by day. Don't ever quit. And remember, the next day is the next day. It's coming, hopefully for you. And if so, if you continue to focus, you will achieve what you want. You just have to stay disciplined to it over a long period of time. Remember, overnight successes, they generally take about 20 years to become an overnight success. Think about that one. True startup story, guys. You got it. Your company just got seed round financed. Congratulations. You're going to the moon. But now you have to scale. You found great talent out in California, New York, Georgia, and even Eastern Europe. So what communications platform will you be using to ensure your international team is always aligned? Well, the answer is easy. Slack.com for Teams. We've used Slack for all of our previous startups, and they've supported us in tremendous ways. And we want to give them a thanks today for supporting vchunting.com. Did you also know that Slack is a great tool for personal use? Yeah, I use my own personal Slack channel to drop in documents, notes, to-dos, and follow-ups to ensure that my workflow throughout the day is right on course. I promise you, if you try out slack.com for personal use, you'll end up using it for your team as well. Go to slack.com to check it out. Welcome back to Adventure Daily with me, Peter Saddington. This is the fastest growing daily show in all of venture media. Make sure to check us out on the tweeters at AgilePeter, or you can follow my daily kind of non-curated content on TikTok at VC Hunting. Make sure also to smash the like button and subscribe. And also, if you'd like, subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Daily Hunt, where I'm always dropping links that you can use. Let's get into our venture deals for today, guys. We got a lot of venture deals, for this Thursday, February 13th, 2020. Hinge Health, a San Francisco-based startup that offers digital solutions to treat chronic musculoskeletal conditions. Wow, say that 5 times fast. Raised $90 million in Series C funding. Bessemer Ventures, congratulations, led the round. Top Hat, a Canada-based company that makes software tools for teachers in higher education, raised $55 million in Series D funding. Georgian Partners and Enovia Capital co-led the round. Phoenix, a San Francisco-based payments infrastructure platform, raised $33 million in Series B funding. Sequoia Capital led the round. Automox, a Boulder, Colorado-based cloud-native cyber hygiene platform provider. Cyber hygiene. What the hell is cyber hygiene? Raised $30 million in Series B funding. Cock, Disruptive Technologies, co-led the round. Let's check out Automox. I have no idea. Cloud-based hygiene platform provider. Remediate vulnerabilities 30 times faster with the industry norm and dramatically reduce your risk with simple, fast, and cloud-native endpoint hardening with Automox. I see. Making sure things are secure, buttoned up. This guy, he looks like he's... wait. Does this guy even... He doesn't even... Is it just me, guys? Or does this guy look like really out of place? Like, if we just got rid of this dude and enlarged this picture a little bit, right? Enlarge the picture, got rid of the dude, kind of be a better homepage, wouldn't it? The lighting's not great. He needs to give him some more light on his face. But what do I know? I just do boob tubes, and I know a little bit about lighting, clearly. Labelbox, a San Francisco-based training data platform for enterprise machine learning applications, raised $25 million in Series B funding. Congratulations. Emerge, a Scottsdale, Arizona-based digital freight marketplace, raised $20 million in Series A funding. New Road Capital Partners led the round. Inato, a Paris-based platform that helps biopharmaceutical companies increase the pool of available patients engaged in clinical trials, raised $14 million in Series A funding. Obvious Ventures led the round. Oscion Systems, a Boston-based in-space propulsion system company, raised $11 million in Series B funding. Boeing Horizon X Ventures and Shasta Ventures co-led the round. Cup, or Q-Up, a New York-based direct-to-consumer intimates brand. Intimates brand raised $11 million in Series A funding. Insight Partners led the round. Well, I'm curious, guys. An intimates brand. What's an intimates brand? Shop Cup. Shop. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I'm done with this, guys. Guys, there's money everywhere. So whatever your startup idea, you can find money for it. You just have to be convincing. Sendoso, a San Francisco-based sending platform, raised $40 million in Series B funding. Oak HCFT led the round. Lone Street Inc., a New York-based developer of online platforms that streamlines the process of sharing, managing, and originating loans, raised $5 million in funding. Arbor Ventures led the round. Here's 5 in private equity, guys. One equity partner sold Peroxychem, a Philadelphia-based manufacturer of peroxygen chemistries, to Evonik Industries AG for $640 million. Ooh, somebody got paid. Grant Avenue Capital acquired the Heartland Rehabilitation and Milestone businesses from HCR Manor Care. Financial terms weren't disclosed. Globalization Partners, Inc., a Boston-based provider of outsourced global professional employer organization and employment services, raised $150 million in funding. Oryx Capital Partners acquired a majority interest in Specialty Welding and Turnarounds, a Gonzales, Louisiana-based provider of specialty welding and other highly technical turnaround services. Hepatco, a portfolio company of Griffin Investors, acquired Evergreen AES Environmental Services, provider of environmental remediation services. Congratulations, guys. And those right there are your venture deals for February 13th, 2020. It's Thursday, guys. This is where the money is going, and this is where the money is flowing.
Did you know that there's even more value than just audio or video? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at VC Hunting, and make sure to sign up for the VC Hunting newsletter, where you'll be able to get weekly news on venture capital, startups, founder stories, and the occasional wisdom extracted from Peter's brain. Go to vchunting.com to sign up. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to Venture Daily, and this is the final word. Mostly just a question to you guys for all of those out there. So I'm running more experiments with the way that I'm using this teleprompter, and I wanted to get some feedback. I've already asked a couple of people close to me about feedback, and one of them said, frankly, it was boring. They didn't like the way that I was using this, and they wished that I added more graphics, more fly-ins, more, upper thirds, lower thirds, these types of animations. But the thing is that first and foremost, it takes a lot of time, and producing these types of things daily with a daily newsletter, engaging on all of the social, creating collateral for VC hunting. Like, there's so much to do, as well as building this startup, building the kind of the firmament, the platform for my venture fund, as well as consulting with clients and helping startups and helping companies grow and learn Agile and Scrum. There's a lot that I'm doing right now. So when it comes to improving the daily news, the news bits, it's kind of hard. But I want to run different experiments on this channel. I want to make sure that the Venture Daily is useful to you guys. Another feedback that I got, which was maybe just a little bit surprising, but at the same time not too surprising, is I've received some feedback that from a couple people, more than a couple people, actually 3 or 4 now, that have told me that they really enjoy the venture deals. But I'm thinking that these guys are kind of the anomalies of sorts, because they want to know where the money is going, they want to know where the money is flowing, and since I can't always grab venture deals every day. I try to do it every day, but sometimes there's just not enough there. There's maybe one or two that I've been able to find, and it's just not enough to create an entire segment. So sometimes I don't do it every day. And then these individuals are like, what happened to the venture deals? What's going on? And so I'm wondering whether I should cut that segment and put it online somewhere else. That's an option. But I do like reading it out because I think it's an important opportunity to consider and see where the money is going, where the money is flowing, what the meta is doing, what industries money is flowing into. Obviously, I see a lot of the same stuff. Like out in Israel, there's a lot of AI, machine learning, OPSEC, security type stuff that's being funded out in Israel. Up in Boston, we see a lot of AI stuff too. So you start to see patterns around where money is going, and I think that's important for me. However, for you guys out there, the venture deals segment, the second segment of this show, I don't want it to be boring. I don't want it to be a terrible experience. I've also received feedback from a couple people that said that they skip the first two segments. They skip the news bits, they skip the venture deals, and they just come to the final word because they just want to hear what I'm thinking about, what I'm talking about, kind of where my heart is at. And I like that, and I appreciate that. But I want to make sure that there's value across the spectrum of every daily show, and I'm struggling to figure out where the right balance is. I will say that I really do enjoy reading the news. It's great. I read some fun articles, and I want to share them with you guys. I hope they're encouraging. I hope they're insightful. Sometimes they're all off the wall a little bit. For example, tomorrow I have to read this article. It's a guy, and I'm going to cover it for sure. And it might be boring, but I don't care because it's my show, and I just thought this article was just awesome. The article that I want to read tomorrow, for example, is about KFC's new chicken. That's not actually chicken, that's actually vegan. It's plant-based or something like that. And I just thought it was such a well-written article that I want to read it to you guys. But some of you guys might not find that interesting or fun, or you might turn it off. I don't know. So I want some feedback from you guys. For those who last all this long, who get to the very tail end of the final word segment, I need help from you guys, the community. I want to make sure that this show is it's informative, it's fun, it's upbeat, and it's something that you feel like, hey, every day that I come, I'm gonna get some value out of it. I'm gonna get some good juju out of it. Like for me, that's a big deal. Now, my target audience in many ways are founders, the entrepreneur curious, and internet friends that I've created, and as well as venture capitalists. However, most venture capitalists don't spend too much time watching me. Mostly they're just trying to figure out their deal flow and trying to get in on those deals, guys, those gains. And so my biggest cross-section of my audience are founders and what I call the entrepreneur curious, individuals that are trying to grow something. And I think in a lot of ways, what's going to invariably emerge over time is a community of founders and the entrepreneur curious that I can help. And so that's one thing that I have rattling in my mind. But this last segment here, guys, is just really an ask. Give me feedback. I'd love the comments below. If you want to write me an email, if you're subscribed to our daily newsletter, The Daily Hunt, you can always just reply to that and give me your feedback and help me improve this show. I want it to be a fun thing. I want it to be something that's exciting, informative, insightful, helpful, inspiring. I want it to be something that you can say, hey man, I just don't feel complete unless I hear, 30, 40 minutes of what Peter has to say, even if you're just running it in the background. So let me know your thoughts, guys. I really love your comments, your suggestions, and all your help. Smash the like button, subscribe, and share this if you can, because we're trying to grow. Remember, I'm trying to grow my own venture fund, and we got to stay in it. We've got to stay in it, guys, if I'm going to be able to deploy capital in the future. So let me know, guys. Thanks for everything. It's Thursday. We got one day left in this week, and I'll see you tomorrow.